Hey, welcome back to Truck and Trailer Tuesday on Tractor Time with Tim. A lot of you have been clamoring for this episode. You keep seeing glimpses of this device right here and you've been saying, I need to see this trailer. Well, here it is. We're going to tell you all about this trailer today and maybe even show some of it in action, so stay tuned. I think the first question I should address is, why do we need another trailer? Christy asked that question several times.
Yep.
Well, when we first started adding equipment to our lineup, we realized it'd be really nice to be able to haul more than one piece of equipment at the same time. And actually, that's what we were really looking for when we encountered BY's and the BY's Ultimate Dump that you can see there in the background. So when we started working with BY's, we were actually looking for maybe a longer trailer like this. But after some consideration, we realized that that Ultimate Dump trailer would be really helpful for us. And we decided at that time that if we needed multiple pieces of equipment, we would just take two trucks with two trailers. That sounded good, and we've actually done that a few times, and it works pretty well. But what's kicked us over the edge of needing a new trailer was Johnny 5. Now, you've seen Johnny 5 in the Ultimate Dump trailer, and he fits, but he doesn't fit with any rear attachment. There's just not enough room. So we've been restricted to using Johnny 5 here at home, or without a rear attachment of any significance. We just couldn't use those on a job site. So, hence the need for a longer trailer. Another item that was restricting us with our current trailers was the width. The first trailer that we have, the D&K trailer, is only 6 feet wide. Now, I special ordered it 6 feet wide. Brad at D&K Trailers told me that he didn't think it should be that narrow. He figured I would want one wider, and sure enough, he was right. Now, if you have only a subcompact tractor, that 6 foot width is beautiful. Most of your attachments fit perfectly. Christy loves it because the wheels don't stick out so far behind the truck. It's much, much easier to handle when you're driving in traffic. It's a nice trailer overall. But that and the BY's dump trailer both have limitations on the width of your equipment. The dump trailer, of course, has sides. So its inside is still restrictive. Now, if it had been a flatbed, even with the axles way out wide like that, we could have got by. But since it has those sidewalls, you know, that's a pretty fixed width. So we really needed a wider trailer and a longer trailer. This trailer is not sponsored. We paid our own money for this trailer. Truthfully, we had such good luck with the sponsored BY's trailer, the Ultimate Dump trailer, that we decided to go back to BY's for this particular model. This is the EDB 28-15 trailer. You can look it up on their website. So the 28 means 28 feet long, the 15 means 15K gross vehicle weight. It's usually rated at 15,400 pounds. We have downrated it. I'll talk about that in a minute. The BY's trailers we have found to be just high-end, top-of-the-line trailers. When we were kind of considering what to do, and you know, we're spending our own money here, we could have gone anywhere. We ended up back at BY's because we liked what we saw. We liked their manufacturing process. We liked the output. We liked the trailer that we've got before, and so, yeah, it was really kind of a no-brainer for us to go back to BY's. Kind of strange because this is not sponsored by BY's, but how could I make a stronger statement for a company than buying one with my own money? Now, this has been a long process for us. We've had to learn a lot of things. We're very thankful to Trooper Hoover for helping us to understand some of the highway rules. If you haven't seen those episodes, I highly recommend you going back to see that series where Trooper Hoover went through a bunch of weight requirements, other requirements that were necessary for certain commercial operations, for private operations. He just goes through a lot of detail. Now, as a result of that, he explained to us that as long as we stay under 26,001 pounds, that's the CDL cutoff, and as long as we stay in Indiana, we can operate commercially without US DOT numbers. Now, if we begin to do commercial operations outside of the state of Indiana, then US DOT numbers become required because 10,000 pound gross vehicle weight becomes the cutoff. So it's very important to us to stay under 26,001 pounds gross vehicle weight rating such that we can avoid all of that paperwork. It seemed like some additional taxes. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of challenge, maybe even more so than the CDL license itself. The USDOT seemed quite burdensome to us, and we just wanted to try to avoid that if we possibly could. Our total gross combined weight rating is 26,000 pounds even with this trailer. 11.5 on the truck and 14.5 on the trailer. Now, the trailer can be rated up to 15,400, but we had them down rated. That's entirely legal. So the tag here will say 14,500, and that makes it a perfect match for the 26,000 pounds. One point on that, we're entirely confident this trailer will be able to handle the load because it's actually built to handle another 1,000 pounds over what we can put on it. The empty weight on this trailer as configured, the title says is 5,360 pounds. We haven't weighed it, but that's what the title says. Empty weight on our truck with us in it, with some luggage, you know, maybe a couple of cheeseburgers, is about 8,000 pounds. It's 7 something, but by the time you get everything loaded, fuel tank loaded, probably 8,000 pounds. We add that to the 5,400 pounds in the trailer, we're at what, 13,400 pounds. That leaves us just over 12,000 pounds, say 12,600 of potential payload, assuming it's distributed properly. That's why we chose the gooseneck. With the gooseneck option, we're able to put whatever weight we want to up on the truck. It's easy to transfer a lot of the weight to the truck. It doesn't harm the truck. There's no, exceeding pressure on the bumper or frame in the rear. It's easy to transfer it up here. So with this trailer, it's going to be easy to get to 26,000 pounds and distribute it properly. It's probably going to be hard to stay under 26,000 pounds, knowing me. But I think we can do it. If we have 12,500 pounds of payload capacity, we should be able to make this work.
Eat less cheeseburgers.
Hey! Who asked you? Mechanically and hydraulically, this trailer is much like our ultimate dump. We have the dual 12,000 pound hydraulic jacks. Tell you what, hydraulic jacks are important for Christy and me. I do not like cranking jacks by hand, especially since we do it fairly often. These hydraulic jacks work awesome, and so that's why we insisted on having them again. One thing I noticed is this toolbox is a little bit taller, actually almost twice as tall as the one in the ultimate dump. I think I need to put some sort of a false floor in there so I can actually store some chains and tools in the box. One concern I have on that, of course, is adding extra weight. I don't want to have any extra weight because we're right up against it with Johnny 5. Got a really nice step here that we can step up, and combined with the handle, it makes it actually easy to access. I don't find this difficult at all to climb. Christy, do you find this difficult to climb?
No, I love that part. That's the only way I can get up there.
Yeah, the handle's great. Now on the back end, as long as the ramps are folded down, I can use them as a step. I can step right up on them to get up on the back side. So it's actually fairly accessible. In some ways, I feel like this is even more accessible than that low-profile D&K trailer, and I can't fully explain that. It must be the higher deck height, easier to reach from the edge. Notice this trailer has a tandem axle, but it has only one tire on each side per axle. These are 7,000 pound rated axles. If you got one with dual wheels, you'd be all the way up to the 20,000, 22,000, maybe even 26,000 GVW, and well, that's way over what we can do with a CDL. So the intent here is to stay below that 26,000 pound overall limit. This is a low profile trailer, so you see this steel portion right here. That's so that we can lower the deck another 4 or 5 inches because of the wood doesn't have to be in the way. This floor is really thin here right above the tires. Okay, this is my favorite feature on the trailer, so let me show you how this hydraulic dovetail actually works. First thing we have to do is raise it all the way up. Once we get it raised up, we have a couple of things to do. See if I can set this down here without it falling. We fold that stop down. That's going to allow us to fold the dovetail all the way down. And then we have these small ramps that we have to fold up in the rear. This is the only manual part of the operation, and it's not too bad. We use the swing to help us get them folded up. As long as they're swinging, they come up pretty easily. I'll do the other side. I would say I have to pull with maybe 35, 40 pounds of pull the way I'm swinging it. Now I don't clip them here because I'm going to be folding them back down before I actually go to transport. We've got our ramps deployed. We've got this switched downward so it's no longer locked. We can put the tail down. Now, Christy and I have found that as a team, we can do this very quickly. We've learned which aspects Christy does, which ones I do, especially when we're combining this with removing the straps or chains from our equipment. We can essentially make one trip around this trailer, be ready to take the machine off, and ready to go to work. It's really worked well. After we've loaded the equipment, we raise it all the way back up again so we can repeat the process. I think I'm gonna have to charge the battery, Christy.
Sounds like it.
I'd say it takes about 10 pounds of force, maybe 15 or 20 maximum, to handle it when we're going back down. It's much less than it is to fold them up. As I mentioned, you cannot transport with these small ramps in the upward position, and you can see why here. The lights are covered up, as well as this stripe here down below, and I think it's a DOT required bumper that has to be a certain height off the ground, has to be relatively low. So these have to be folded down to allow the trailer to be transported. Christy, why haven't you got my tag on yet? This one's about to expire.
Yeah, I know. I'll do it soon.
No, it's not her job. I just haven't got around to it, but we still have a few days left.
Yep.
Hey, Christy, let's look at this deck. We chose to go with a treated wood deck for the main portion of the deck. We chose on the ramps to use what they call black wood. What they do is they trim out a little bit of the top of these treated wood boards, and they infuse them with rubber. And this allows us to have a lot more traction. So if you've seen in some other videos where we've talked about the ultimate dump, we found that to be slick. I thought maybe if we got this black wood, well, for one thing, it would give us a chance to try it and yet not expend the whole amount of money to try it on the whole trailer. But I thought maybe the Dovetail was the place I'd really need it anyway. So we'll see how it works. I've hit it a little bit with the power rake, and I see one little kind of smudge here in it. It'll be interesting to see how durable and reliable it is. Hey, I can tell you one thing about it. It is hot to sit on when it's 90 degrees outside. With that thought in mind, I'm moving. Our D&K trailer came with stake holders, but it didn't come with a rub rail. And we specifically wanted a rub rail this time. We felt like it would give us more options to tie down equipment. We've always felt a little bit limited in tie down options. Another thing I notice here is a lot of stake holders. So even though we may not be using them for stakes, that separation gives us more tie down options. And I'll show you that in a little bit. If you've seen our earlier episodes where we talk about the cargo buckles, here's how we've always had them configured. We've had a big grab hook, and we've always used the D-rings on the D&K trailer and on the ultimate dump. That's been our tie down approach. These cargo buckles, we think they're the cleverest thing ever. They're auto retracting. Their working load limit is 1,166 pounds. It's really simple. Once Trooper Hoover went through it with me several times, I was able to understand there is a simple way to figure this. If you use 4 tie downs, 1 on each corner, that means you can take the working load limit of each one, just simply add them up, and that's the total maximum weight of your equipment. So, 4 cargo buckles, 1166 each. means we can haul about, what, 4,500 pounds? So we think these things, well, they're the handiest things we've found to tie down. We can go around our truck and in 30 seconds be tied down or released. It doesn't work very well with the rub rail, the stake pockets, so I've had to come up with a different approach. What I've done is I've attached a small, I don't know, I might call it a pigtail, a small piece of chain. This is 1/4 inch chain, grade 70. It's, I think, 3,150 pounds working load limit. And I used one other link. This is the weakest link. Get that, Christy? Weakest link. Yeah, it is the weakest link, but it's still above the 1166 of the cargo buckle itself. I think it's somewhere around 1,400. It's either 12 or 1,400 pounds working load limit. But the way I use these is I can put them through the stake holder. I can loop them around, hook right in here, and this gives me a lot more flexibility where I might hook. I can hook anywhere here. And even if I didn't have stake holders, anything I can find to wrap around, this works great. This was relatively inexpensive too. I actually bought one piece of 12-foot chain that had these hooks on them. I split it into 6, I think, and so I had to buy 4 more hooks. But the point is, very easy. I took a grinder, ground one of the links apart to make these the length I needed. These are about 2 feet. 2 feet of chain for each one. It seems about right. Maybe a little bit long. You might be able to get by with 18 inches. The cargo buckles are on our Amazon store. Amazon.com/shop/tractortimewithtim. This is one of my favorite products. It's amazing to me how effective this is. We can use these for Johnny, Johnny 2, or Vinny. We cannot use them for Johnny 5 or Casey. They're just not heavy enough. But hey, for most of our applications, they work, and they work well. Christy, this trailer required finance committee action.
It absolutely did. It was a little pricey, if you ask me.
Yeah, it was hard for us to do because we already felt like we had 2 trailers and we just weren't sure that how we could justify a third.
Right.
But we really feel like this trailer is well suited for our needs.
And it's worked out well. It's actually easy. I will drive equipment up onto this trailer, and I do not like to do that on the little D&K trailer because you have the little ramps and you have to keep your tires on those little tiny ramps, and yeah, that's not.
The big Dovetail makes it much more comfortable to drive up on, you're right.
And especially backing off. I'm not, with the Ventrac and its articulation, you can really move it very quickly just by a little bit of a hand motion, and I will drive the Ventrac down this trailer without any problem.
I find that the gooseneck adapter is narrower on this trailer than it is on the other trailer, and I'm able to see along it pretty well. I got good visibility with this trailer, obviously much more so than the Ultimate Dump, and you know, I find it in some ways easier to drive. Because of the Dovetail, the axles are a little further forward than they typically would be on a long trailer. Okay. So it really doesn't drive that much longer than, you know, say a normal trailer. Really, it's basically an 18-foot trailer with another 10 foot of Dovetail attached, right? So it doesn't drive near as long as, you know, most 30-foot or 28-foot trailers. We've got a load of OSB here that I picked up the other day, and we're going to put that in the shed. Get one side of that wall finished pretty soon, I hope.
Yeah, and then we can put up some pallet racking for some of our attachments.
When are you going to get this stuff put up, Christy?
Oh yeah, I'll just jump right on that.
I was thinking maybe you get that done this afternoon while I napped.
I think I have to edit video.
Okay. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this Truck and Trailer Tuesday. I think we're going to enjoy this trailer. It's easy to hook up on the sides. That's another thing we didn't mention. I find when I walk along the sides, it's just the right height.
Well, for you, I have to climb up here sometimes. Because I'm short. Sorry.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. I've lost my camera person. She ran off to the shade. Can you believe that? It's about 95 degrees and she's decided that that's too hot. You can tell that I've decided it's too hot too.